In a bustling world where everyone is chasing their dreams, only a few manage to achieve them, while most falter along the way. Whenever we take a step toward our goals, doubts arise in our minds. Can I do it? Will I succeed? What will people say if I fail? These fears, especially the fear of failure, paralyze us. But through a profound Buddhist story, we can learn to overcome these fears and stay focused on our goals. Long ago, a Buddhist monk lived in a small cottage near a dense forest. Known for his extraordinary wisdom, people often sought his guidance to solve their problems. One day, as he was returning from a nearby village after seeking alms, a young man approached him. "Sage," the man said skeptically, "I've heard tales of your wisdom. They say you can solve any problem, but I doubt it. I want to know why we fear failure and how we can achieve our goals without this fear." The monk smiled and replied, "I will answer your question, but first, walk with me to my cottage." Intrigued, the young man agreed. That evening, after a simple meal, they rested. The next day, the monk led the young man to a cave hidden deep within the forest. The cave's entrance was dark and mysterious. The monk invited him inside, and the young man hesitantly followed. Once inside, the monk quietly slipped out, shutting the door behind him and locking it from the outside. The young man called out in panic, "Where are you, sage? Why have you locked me in?" But there was no response. Alone in the pitch-black cave, fear gripped him. His mind raced with thoughts of wild animals, traps, or even the possibility that the monk had left him to die. Time passed, and his fear deepened as hunger and thirst gnawed at him. He paced the cave, shouting for help, but there was only silence. Exhausted, he finally sat down and began to think. Suddenly, he noticed a faint ray of light coming from a high tunnel at the top of the cave. Though it seemed impossible to reach, he felt a surge of determination. With no other options, he focused all his energy on climbing toward the light. The journey was grueling. The path was slippery and filled with sharp rocks, but his desperation outweighed his fear. He climbed with unwavering focus, ignoring his hunger and thirst. Finally, after immense effort, he reached the tunnel. At its edge, he saw the monk standing outside, smiling. The monk extended his hand and helped him out into the sunlight. The young man, trembling with anger and exhaustion, shouted, "Why did you do this to me? I was terrified, alone, and starving. What kind of lesson is this?" The monk, unshaken, handed him water and spoke calmly. "You escaped the cave because of two reasons. First, your hunger and thirst pushed you to act. Second, there was no one to discourage you. If others had been there, they might have said, 'This tunnel is too high,' or 'Let's find an easier way.' Their doubts would have infected your mind and held you back." The monk continued, "Your success came because you focused only on the light. Imagine if the cave had been lit. You would have seen the deep pits, the sharp rocks, and the dangerous insects. The fear of these obstacles would have overwhelmed you, keeping you trapped. This is how life works. When we focus on challenges instead of our goals, we fail. But if we concentrate solely on the destination, success becomes inevitable." The monk explained further, "Distractions and opinions from others are like the darkness in the cave. They cloud your mind and fill you with doubt. To achieve success, you must ignore the noise around you. Keep your focus as sharp as an archer aiming for the bullseye. When you fixate on your goal and shut out unnecessary distractions, fear vanishes. And when success finally comes, the same people who doubted you will stand and applaud." Humbled, the young man bowed. "Sage, your wisdom has opened my eyes. From now on, I will banish fear and ignore the opinions of others. I will focus solely on my goals." With newfound determination, he returned to his village, ready to pursue his dreams with unwavering focus, knowing that success was no longer a distant possibility but an achievable reality.